On today's episode, I'm going to share with you some rad flea market finds and also some Facebook Marketplace picks that are just super cool. Today we're going to talk about some Halloween collectibles, some lunch boxes, comic books, and more. Alright, stay tuned to the end of this video as we are going to debate the ultimate vintage toy showdown between Iron Mike Tyson and Bruce Lee. You're not going to want to miss this one. Now, one of my favorite things to collect is Halloween collectibles. Now, at the flea market recently, I picked up this really cool set of Halloween 3 action figures from Season of the Witch. Now, I know a lot of fans didn't like Halloween 3 Season of the Witch because it didn't have anything to do with Michael Myers, focusing instead on a different storyline about creepy masks and strange rituals. Well, I'm a big fan of creepy masks, so there you go. I'm going to do a little magic trick that I've been performing, and I would like to try to spin this table so you can get a better view of these action figures. All right, let me rock it out. Ready, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. This Halloween 3 Season of the Witch box set by Mezco was released in 2016. This set features the 3 10-inch trick-or-treaters, and they have 5 points of articulation. We have the witch, the skeleton, and a jack-o'-lantern, each wearing their respective silver shamrock mask. And they each come with a trick-or-treat bag, which is also really cool. Now, the colors and graphics on this box set are just awesome. Now, I picked this set up at the flea market for 65 bucks, and they're going into my personal collection. So there you go. Alright, rolling along with the Halloween theme here, we're going to start out this one with this really cool set of luminous monster puffy stickers from 1979. Now, you could just take a look at these. They're super awesome. You have the Wolfman, the Skull, the Mummy, the Wicked Witch, Frankenstein, and the Skull Man. Now, I picked these up for $5 at the flea market, and that is just an absolute steal. Definitely going in my private collection. Alright, next up we have a vintage Halloween postcard. Now, vintage Halloween postcards like this one with embossed designs were pretty popular in the early to mid 20th century. These Halloween postcards featured embossed motifs with witches, black cats, pumpkins, and other spooky imagery. Now, I flipped this one over so you can see the divided back. Now, I probably paid about $15 for this postcard, but I'm okay with that. And I typically like to pick up items like this on the off season where the prices seem to come down a little bit. During the peak season of Halloween in October, you're going to see the prices spike up and you're going to have a lot of people looking for it. So when I'm out at the flea market or yard sales, I definitely try and keep my eye out for Halloween stuff. So last but not least, we have a really cool set of vintage Halloween trick-or-treat candy bags. Now, I really like these. One thing I love about these trick-or-treat candy bags is they have awesome graphics on it and really strong colors. You have the little guys in the costumes, you got the pumpkin, you have the haunted houses, you got the bats, you got the Wicked Witch, you got the ghoul, you got the little trick-or-treaters, and it's everything you would want in a vintage Halloween item. Now, I don't know how much people are using these kind of things anymore, but you know what? I still like them. You know, kids nowadays, they want the big candy bar and they probably want money or something like that, or a Fortnite gift card. But anyway, back in the day, this is what you used to get. You know, you would get some candy corn in here, you'd get like a Tootsie Roll and maybe some money if you were lucky. But I really like them, and these are definitely going in my collection. And as you can see here real quick, I actually take these kind of items when I find them, and I'll put them in a comic book back and board because I like to protect them, because I feel like the more you handle this stuff, the more they're going to get jacked up, and I just like to keep everything nice. And again, if I'm going to go sell these things, they look a little bit better, and I think they present a little bit better, and you can get a little bit more money out of them. So that's just a little tip for you. Alright, so this next item is really cool. Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park on VHS cassette. Now, I actually have 2 others upstairs, and I recently found another one on Facebook Marketplace. Now, I picked this one up for $10. Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park was a made-for-TV movie released in 1978 featuring the iconic rock band Kiss, and it was actually filmed at Six Flags Magic Mountain in California. Now, because I already have 2 of these in my private collection, I'll probably just end up taking this one to the flea market and selling it for 20 bucks. For 20 bucks, someone will definitely pick this up and add it to their personal Kiss collection. It's like one of those must-have items, so there you have it. Okay, so here's a couple of really cool Hardy Boys items that we recently picked up from the flea market. Now, the Hardy Boys TV show aired for 3 seasons from 1977 to 1979, featuring our boy here, Sean Cassidy, and his fellow mate, Parker Stevenson. So let's get right into it, and let's start out with lunchboxes, one of my favorite things to collect. Now, what I like about these vintage lunchboxes, I just really like all the graphics and design, and also like the subject matter. When I was growing up, I had a Land of the Lost lunchbox, I had a $6 Million Man lunchbox, and I also had the Evel Knievel. Let me know right in the comments what kind of lunchbox you carried when you were in school. So let's get right into it. Now, one of the things I look for, actually one of the 3 things I look for when I'm at the flea market and lunchboxes are subject matter, condition, and price. So what I like about this, you got a really cool graphics on here with Sean Cassidy and Parker Stevenson. You flip it around, you got the cool picture of the van. You got the Hardy Boys mysteries on the back with the haunted castle. I mean, this thing just looks super awesome. Now this I think we picked up for about $35, and it's definitely going in our personal collection. Next up, we have a vintage pinback button. Now, I really enjoy looking for these when I go to the flea market. Oftentimes you see like a box sitting there with like political pins and stuff like that. Now, I'm personally not into that kind of subject matter. I'm more into the rock and roll and like TV show memorabilia. But anyway, I love digging through it, and I love when you can find a little diamond in the rough. That's just awesome. And again, I really look for subject matter, things that I'm personally interested in, and it's got to be in good condition. And usually the price is right on these pinback buttons. You can pick these up for $1 or $2, and they're just great. I have a couple of them in my private collection, and I actually have a really funny Slaughter one for the rock band Slaughter. It's about 8 inches big. It's just huge. It's ridiculous. And I'll bring that out in another video. Now here is another of my absolute favorite things to collect, character dolls. I like any of the character dolls from the 70s, from the 8-inch all the way up to the 12-inch version. I like them all. So we'll get started. I have a couple of character dolls in my collection. Well, actually, I got a bunch of them in my collection. As you can see back here, well, you can't see too well, but I have the $6 Million Man. I got the Mego Wonder Woman. I got some of the Mego superheroes like the Hulk, Spider-Man. I have the Ideal Evel Knievel upstairs. Of course, I got the Kiss Migos, and I just love them. I got the Grizzly Adams Mattel. You can't go wrong with that. I used to love that show when I was a kid. And I just love collecting character dolls. I think they display very well, no matter how you do it. And they're just really fun to collect, and I'm always out on the hunt for them. So let's get into it and just check out this Hardy Boys real quick. So what I like about this Hardy Boys box, it's got the really nice orange and brown colors in it. And it looks like just something straight out of the Brady Bunch. And I just love that era, and I love the 70s. I was a kid growing up in the 70s and the 80s, actually. But I just really love that era. They made a lot of really cool stuff. So in general, I really love collecting these character dolls. And we picked this one up at the flea market for 25 bucks. You just can't beat it. Now here's a little funny factoid. A couple of years ago, we actually went to go see Sean Cassidy. It was the first time that Sean has toured in 40 years. It was his 40-year anniversary, and we actually saw him at the Parks Casino in Northeast Philadelphia. And it was actually a really fun show. Now, I know that's going to bring my rock credentials down a little bit, but I'm going to bring it back up because we saw Jerry Cantrell at the Parks Casino not that long ago, and that was an absolutely fantastic show. So I like music from anywhere from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and I pretty much stop at like 1990. Less the Black Crowes, that's one of my favorite bands of all time. But I like the old music, that's just what I'm into. And I like a lot of the 80s music too, don't get me wrong. But that's my generation, and that's what I like. So there you have it. Now here are a couple items I picked up on Facebook Marketplace. It's the Kiss 1996 and 1997 Alive Worldwide Tour Book. Along with that, we have the 1998 and 1999 Psycho Circus Tour Book by Kiss. Now, I was fortunate enough to have been at both of those concerts. The first one at Madison Square Garden. And man, when I tell you this is one of the best, absolute best concerts I've ever been to, I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. Now, I really don't like, I'm going to throw this out there, I'm not a big fan of the new Kiss. I like the old Kiss, and that's all I'm going to say on the matter. But that's the way it is. I'm honest, and that's what I like. You know, I grew up with the old Kiss, and I'm going to stick with the old Kiss. Anyway, it was one of the best concerts I ever saw. And when I remember the fourth song, when they played Dr. Love, and you hear the distortion and Madison Square Garden, it just was like a throwback from the 70s. And when I think about those chords and just hearing how loud it was, it was just, it makes the hair on your arm stand up. It was just so good, and I really miss those days, but I'm really fortunate to have seen them when they came back around for the original reunion tour with all the original members. It was just fantastic and one of the highlights of my life, really, honestly. Now, I also saw this tour, the Kiss Psycho Circus tour, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and that was another great one too. That was a really fun time. Sebastian Bach was there. It was just an awesome time to see him in the crowd. Everyone's rocking out and everybody loves Kiss. It's just a fun time. And again, I have a ton of Kiss stuff in my collection. I'm going to show you that in another video, another couple of videos actually. And I just love Kiss. You're going to see a lot of Kiss stuff in my videos, mixed in with a lot of other stuff from my childhood and a lot of stuff that you guys collect as well. So with that, let's go on to the next item. So here are two more items that I actually got with the Kiss tour book pick. So I picked these guys up on Facebook Marketplace, and the two Kiss tour books were $20. They were in mint condition, and that was just a steal. Now I went through the list of other items that were for sale by the seller, and I came across these two, and these were $10 for the pair. So I threw a dart out there and I sent her a message. I said, hey, I'm going to buy the Kiss tour books, but can you throw in the other ones, you know, for 20 bucks? So she said, sure. So I ended up getting all four items for 20 bucks, which I think is a great deal. So there you go. So let me take a better look at these. I'll show you these guys. Now, when I picked these up, I was actually pleasantly surprised that they were the 12-inch vinyl versions and not the little smaller 45 book and record set that you can see out there sometimes. Now these have awesome graphics. I love $6 Million Man stuff. I used to watch it when I was a kid and play with the toys and all that stuff, but these have really nice graphics on them. And there you go. It's still sealed in the original package actually, which makes it even better. Here we have the Star Trek book and record set. So you got the Enterprise on the back, again, really cool graphics. I used to watch this. I had the little Mego play set with the figures when I was a kid, and it was just a really fun time back then. So what I'll end up doing with these, I'll take them, bring them to the flea market, and probably ask $20 for the pair. And hopefully they'll sell. I think they will. But anyway, if they sell for 20 bucks and I paid 20 bucks, I get the Kiss books for free. That's how my mind works. The math is just right, and it's right for me. So anyway, there you go. Hope you enjoy them. All right, let's talk comic books. Now, I'm going to throw this out there right away. I'm definitely not a comic book expert, but as I say, I know what I like, and when I like it, I buy it. So I'm going to start from the bottom and kind of work my way up with my very little bit of knowledge in comic books. So here we go. So one thing that I look for when I'm looking for comic books, if I see a table at the flea market that's selling comic books, the one thing is condition. I always go back to condition, condition, condition. So if you have a stack of comic books sitting there and they're not bagged and boarded, I'm pretty much not interested right away because these things have been handled, they've been moved around, they're not cared for properly, and people that collect comic books that are serious diehard collectors, they are very passionate, as they should be, and they're very picky, as they should be, and I'm picky myself, so I pretty much lump myself in with that category. Now, having said that, what I do like about comic books, I really love the graphics, and I'm a big fan of the older stuff, and again, mainly the stuff from the 70s that I grew up with. I like horror stuff, I like Spider-Man, Star Wars, He-Man, and kind of like that. Kiss, I like Kiss comic books. Well, actually two. I only like two Kiss comic books. The Marvel one and the second one that they came out with. But anyway, I like to buy stuff when I see it, when it's in good condition. That's the first thing I look for, condition. And again, it's like three things: subject matter, condition, and price. Those things are like whenever you're out looking for stuff, those are the three things that are pretty much most important. I'm sure a lot of you already know that. So anyway, we'll get right into it. So I like this kind of stuff. I'll just show you some of the stuff that I kind of like. I like the Spider-Man comics, and I love the Electric Company. This is pretty cool. You know, that's where Spider-Man, how I learned about Spider-Man actually was through the Electric Company. And this is a Spidey Super Stories #1. And this is in really mint condition. And I probably got this for about 50 bucks. and it's bagged and boarded. I bag and board everything. And that way, like I said, if you bag and board this stuff and you go to sell it, it seems like it's worth a little bit more. So buy better stuff. And I'm always a fan, that old saying, it's like, good will always be good. I kind of like that, or something like that. But anyway, I like Star Wars stuff. Whenever I see Star Wars stuff, I pick it up. I do have a bunch of Star Wars comic books, and I'm going to show them in a later video. And there's that. So again, with these comics too, and you got to be careful with comic books, because sometimes when they're bagged and boarded, they can hide a lot of stuff. So if it's a comic you're interested in, you better take it out of the thing and take a better look at the comic, because the plastic can really hide a lot of damage. And when a comic book is damaged, then your wallet is also damaged, and you don't want that. So I know I definitely don't want that myself. But here's something I would pick up. So if I saw a comic that was in good condition and it had good subject matter, you got Spider-Man, you got the Green Goblin, you got the Pumpkin, something like this, I think I'd probably pick this up for $2. Now this one was in a pile with comic books that were not bagged and boarded, and I bagged and boarded it, and I'll go and resell this at the flea market. So on the back, you can see right here, I'm only asking $10 for a comic like this. So I think it's pretty cool. When somebody sees something bagged and boarded like that, and with the awesome graphics, it's got the super content on there, I think these sell really fast. And you know, you make a quick buck. And you pile up a whole bunch of them together and you make some money. So there you go. So let's get into CGC comics. Now, this one's pretty awesome. This is a Star Wars number 68, actually. It's got really strong graphics. And there's a couple of things about CGC graded comics. Now, I've only had 2 comics graded in my whole life, only 2, and they were both Kiss comics. The 1977 Kiss Marvel comic that was made in Kiss Blood. I paid $200 for each of them, and I got them back from CGC. One was graded a 9.4, which is worth about $900, believe it or not. That's upstairs with all my other vintage Kiss stuff. And I sold the other one, as I showed in my last video, I sold it for $685, and that was a 9.2. So with that, not every comic book should be graded, right? So you would never, even if this was in great condition, you don't want to spend the money to take this to get it graded. You know why? It's not a key comic book. Key comic books are worth getting graded. And I'm not an expert on key comics, but I guess there's an app out there that you can get, and you can figure out what the key comics are if you're into it. But just in general, in my opinion, regular comics are just not worth grading. It's not worth spending the money and time and effort for it. So if you have something that's really good, go get it graded and love it. Now, the only thing about this is when these comics get slabbed, you can actually take them out and you can't read them. So there is that. So for me, this is all about display and actually a little bit of an investment value. So another thing that I look for in this, I guess they would call you a slab snob. I only have about 10 slabbed comics, but the ones I have are all white pages. So I look for anything that's 9.0 and that's white pages. And that's my personal thing that I do, that I look into. Like I said, I don't have a lot of experience in comic books. I just started getting into this in the last couple of years. And, you know, I have very few of them, but, you know, these can get really expensive. Now, there are some exceptions to the rules on condition. Like if you have a Hulk, obviously Hulk 181, and that's sitting in a pile that's been all dog chewed, it's got a peanut butter and jelly sandwich stuck to it, it's probably still worth buying, because some of those old comic books are worth a lot of money. But if you have a Popeye or a Daffy Duck or a Porky Pig or something like that, and your Aunt Tildy ran it over with her little golf cart or something like that, probably worth staying away from it. I'm not interested in it, and you shouldn't be interested in it either. So there you go. There's my little rant on comic books. Hopefully you learned a little something. But let me know what you think, and leave a comment down in the comments there. All right, here we go. In this corner, standing in at 5 foot 7.5 inches tall, we have one of the greatest martial artists of our generation, Mr. Bruce Lee. And in this corner, we have arguably one of the greatest heavyweight fighters of our time, Mr. Iron Mike Tyson. All right, here we go, guys. It's game on. It's game on. Now look at Bruce Lee, the intent on his face. He looks like he's out for blood, everybody. Tyson looks very relaxed in here though. He's got a smile on his face, he's dancing around. I feel like he's gonna rope-a-dope Mr. Bruce Lee over here. Oh wow, he's bobbing and weaving. But you know, in order for Bruce to win this fight, he's gonna have to close the gap here. And I think that's exactly what Tyson is trying to do to draw him in. Here he goes. So let's get this thing started. All right, here we go. Oh, Tyson slips a jab. Boom, oh! Bruce is hurt. Bruce is hurt. He's shaking, folks. He's shaking, folks. And what is this? Oh my God, Tyson. He's just flying around the ring. Where's he going? Where's he going? Up from the middle of nowhere. Here comes Tyson. Here comes Tyson. Boom! He hits Bruce on the chin. He literally flew from the top of the arena all the way down to the bottom, and he knocks Bruce Lee out. Okay, I hope you really enjoyed this video. It's all good fun. Leave me a comment down in the comment section below and let me know who you think would win this super fight between Iron Mike Tyson and Bruce Lee. Now, let me tell you where I was coming from with this and why I think Mike Tyson would win. Now, if you put them both in their prime, you got to think about Iron Mike Tyson. There's a reason why he was called Iron Mike Tyson. He's one of the greatest heavyweights that the boxing sport has ever seen. And when he hits you, when he slips that jab and hits you with that right in the kidney with his right arm, and then he slips again and he comes up and hits you in the chin with that uppercut, it was just lights out. And we've seen all the videos back in the day. He'll just knock you out in like the first 1 or 2 minutes of the fight. And we've seen it time and time again with with Mike. But anyway, nothing, you know, not to discredit Bruce Lee, but we're talking 2 different weight classes. So with Bruce Lee, with Jeet Kune Do, one of the things I really do like about it though, when Bruce Lee is going to throw a punch at you, it's like an atomic bomb hits you in the chest. Now, if he hit somebody like me like that, he's going to cave in my chest with one of his punches. Or I'd be coming in on him, and all of a sudden he'd slap me upside the head with one of his kicks, and then it's just lights out. But I don't think that would happen against Mike Tyson. I just don't. And that's where I'm coming from. But all due respect, I love both of these guys. I think they're great. I don't like the outfit on Tyson. I like him, you know, in a different outfit. But other than that, I just, it's all good fun. This is all about good fun. And I found this at the flea market for like 15 bucks the other weekend, which inspired this video. So there you have it. All right, guys, have a great time. And if you really enjoy this kind of content, this is a brand new channel. So please like, share, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. And it will help this channel out a great deal. So everyone have a great week. Be safe out there. See ya.